Chargers. The Chargers in a crazy game. I can't believe it just happened. I can't believe this game is a wrap. 29-28. LA Chargers take it over the Kansas City Chiefs in a thriller. One of the best games of 2018 so far. One of my favorite games of 2018 so far. Phillip Rivers toe-to-toe with Patty Mahomes. An epic finish offense. Penalties, big plays, big stops. And it came down to the Chargers risking it all, rolling the dice in Arrowhead, going for two and going back to Mike Williams. Remember the story of just 2 drafts ago. Patrick Mahomes. There was rumors that the Chargers were going to replace Phillip Rivers with a quarterback, trade for a quarterback, trade up for a quarterback. And they were heavily interested in Patrick Mahomes. But they ended up settling on Mike Williams. Mike Williams' breakout game is a 3-touchdown performance on Thursday Night Football over the rival that they haven't beat in 9 straight games, the Chargers. 10th time is the charm. They beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead and are now leading their division. I don't know if they're actually leading their division. That's actually not true. Don't take my word for that. They are tied. I got to check real quick. If anybody knows for sure, they are both 11-3. They both have 2 games remaining. I believe the Chiefs are still leading their division. But if the Chiefs do lose one more game, the Chargers win out and they can win that division and the number 1 seed. If the Chiefs win out, they'll be the number 1 seed. If the Chargers lose and the Chiefs lose and the Patriots win out, the Patriots will be number 1 seed. So there's a lot on the line in this game. I know that it doesn't really seem like it, but we're going to talk about it. This game was very, very fun. I think we saw a lot. This game said a lot about these two teams. And yet again, the Chiefs were unable to defeat the LA Chargers, or the Chiefs were unable to defeat a team that's elite in the NFL. They faced the Rams. They faced the Patriots. They came up short. Once again, they lose. Interesting. I wonder if that's becoming a trend. Even at home, in a place where they said it could not be done. Nobody can go into Arrowhead and win. It's not possible. The Baltimore Ravens, they were the closest. 27-24 in overtime. Nobody can do it. Well, the Chargers, Road Warriors, walk into Arrowhead on Thursday night. They do not have Melvin Gordon suiting up. They do not have Keenan Allen. And they still win the game. That's impressive. That's mental toughness. And you have to start believing in the Chargers team this year. The number one question, I've been, everybody calls me a closet Chargers fan on this channel. They're my second favorite team. All right. I have no problem saying that. And the big reason why is because of Phillip Rivers. And in this game, I think they proved to you that this Chargers team is different. They're not the same Chargers team of old. They can get it done in the clutch moments. They went to Seattle. They beat Seattle. That's not easy. All right? They went to Pittsburgh. They beat Pittsburgh on prime time. Now they go to Kansas City, and they beat Kansas City. I almost think that the Chargers would prefer to be a road team in the playoffs because that's where they shine. They shine as the underdog. It's almost like they're putting too much pressure on themselves at this point. This game was wild. I want to know your guys' thoughts in the comments section. There was a lot of interesting calls on both teams. Specifically, for 3.5 quarters, the Chiefs were getting a lot of calls. And I was worried at the end of the game that the Chargers were going to be screwed because I felt like the game was a lot closer than what it was indicating on the scoreboard. Because you know how the Chiefs can score. And then in the fourth quarter, a couple of calls do go the Chargers' way, and they end up winning. So it's gonna be a good discussion here. Let's go to the statistics. It's 29-28 again. In case you missed it, the Chargers win on a 2-point conversion. Let's actually start there. So the last play of the game is basically, I was thinking there's 8 seconds left. They have 0 timeouts. They're on the 1-yard line after the pass interference. Starting with the pass interference, it was a debate. It was a very, very tic-tacky call. But my opinion on that is that they should have been there anyways because the hit on Phillip Rivers was helmet to helmet. That was clearly a helmet to helmet hit, and he should have been on the 1-yard line regardless. So in my opinion, that was a makeup call. So that was a makeup call for the Chargers to get them to the 1-yard line because that call was horrible. That they didn't call that helmet to helmet on Phillip Rivers. That actually cost the Chargers like at least 10 seconds because they didn't end up calling a timeout till 14 seconds left when they snapped the ball like 24 seconds left on the clock. So at 23 seconds left, they let 10 seconds run down because Rivers is yelling at the refs because they clearly missed a call. I didn't understand why Anthony Lynn or whoever on the sidelines did not call a timeout. I know that the quarterback usually calls the timeout in that situation, but the head coach has a responsibility to also manage the game and call a timeout. Anthony Lynn's been great. I'm not saying he hasn't been, but he probably should have called the timeout there to allow them for more time. Fortunately for them, it worked out because the Chargers end up getting the ball at the 1-yard line because of that pass interference, which I do think was tic-tacky. Wasn't a great call. You know, they've called that a lot before. They have called that play where they were talking about how they kind of they hit down. I don't remember what corner it was. Maybe it was Nelson. I don't really remember. But they hit down the arm of Mike Williams so he doesn't have 2 hands to catch it. I've seen that called before. I'm not saying it was a great call, but I've seen it called before. Now, when they get to the 1-yard line, they have 8 seconds. I'm thinking, okay, the first play is going to be a pass. If they don't get the pass, they're going to run the ball because they have 8 seconds. And if you miss the pass, there's still going to be seconds on the clock. And you're just going to go with your best play from the 1-yard line, which is most likely a run. So they put the ball in Rivers' hands. And obviously the ball is going to Mike Williams. If it's not going to Mike Williams, one-on-one to the right sideline, it's going to probably Antonio Gates. So it goes to Mike Williams, and of course it goes to Mike Williams. I'm kind of interested, why did Kansas City not double team him or put a better player on him? Why did they have Orlando Scandrick, who is probably their worst corner on their team, on Mike Williams? Orlando Scandrick, keep in mind, he's 5'9", 5'10". He's short. Mike Williams is 6'4", 6'5", and you're basically running he kind of pushed off, but it was like a variation of a fade. It wasn't exactly a fade, but it was like an out, and then he turned back and he caught it. So I was thinking, if they don't get that, they run it. But I don't understand why Scandrick's covering him on that play. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So then they go to the 2-point conversion, which I think was ballsy as hell. I would have not ran a 2-point conversion there. I would have just kicked the field goal or the extra point. I understand that Phillip Rivers and the Chargers are rolling and they're playing really well and they're really good at 2-point conversion. So maybe that was their thing. Maybe coming into the game, they knew that play would work. And sometimes coaches scout for those sort of things and they have, a set of 2-point conversion plays to go to. So maybe they had that play in the bunch. They knew that guy was going to be open. That's a possibility. But at the same time, wouldn't you have kicked the extra point at that point and just taken the momentum into overtime for most people? So I think a lot of people, that's an example of Anthony Lynn right there being rather you're a genius or you're an idiot. So in that case, he's a genius. So they call the bunch play some sort of, it didn't even look like a pick or anything. It's actually on Twitter, I think. Basically, Mike Williams just runs it out and nobody covers him. I don't know, because there are strict rules for a defense to follow when you're in a bunch set. Like, the outside guy is supposed to take the guy that goes on the out. The closest guy to the inside takes the inside guy. It's not necessarily man-to-man when you're playing in the bunch. There's specific rules to where the guy goes. But yeah, it just didn't make sense at all what the Chiefs were doing on that play. They were very confused. Possibly the Chargers saw that on tape, but that's something that I don't really understand, and the Chiefs need to be better in that situation. They honestly looked a little confused. So the Chargers win on that. But let's go back to the rest of the game and check the stats real quick before I go to the chat. So Rivers, 26 for 38, 313, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. The first interception was bad. Threw it horribly. Second interception was also bad. He was almost out of bounds, so he would have gotten away with it. And this is why I'm saying the Chargers, probably should have had more points than they even scored in this game, because Rivers throws an interception in the end zone, which was a great catch by Fuller. I'm going to give him that. But the Chargers basically threw away points there at the end of the half by throwing the ball right to the other team. Their ground game was not the greatest. 58 yards. I think the Chiefs did a great job of kind of controlling that for the most part. I actually thought that this kid, the undrafted guy, Newsome, who was just called up for this game, six carries, 34 yards, had a good game. He looked strong, was tough to take down, and was fresh legs, so maybe that helped. But Justin Jackson wasn't great. He had a touchdown, so that might have helped you. He also had 3 catches for 27. Mike Williams ended up having a huge play, huge run, one rush for 19 yards and a touchdown. He also had 7 catches for 76 yards, 2 touchdowns. Every big play, it seemed like they trusted him. Every third down, every red zone play that they did not have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams was the guy. It was one-on-one with Mike Williams. That fourth down, he did go to Travis Benjamin, which was, like Troy Aikman put it, a thing of beauty. Perfect post route, right on the money. Benjamin just turns around, the ball's right there in his hands. Perfect pass by Rivers. Antonio Gates had a few big catches in this game, 4 catches for 54. Tyrell Williams had some big drive starters in the game, 6 catches for 71. But I think this was really Mike Williams' game. He proved that he's a talented receiver, and I think this game's only going to help his confidence, help the Chargers understand that this guy's a big-time player, and I think that's going to help them in the playoffs, knowing that when Keenan Allen is also there, they have another guy they can go to in those situations that they can count on. So, that was great for him. Defensively, Ingram had his best game of the year, 1.5 sacks in crucial situations. He has not been good this year, but 1.5 sacks in this game is huge against the Chiefs. Desmond King, I thought, played very well for the most part. He, a lot of times, was matched up on Travis Kelce, which is not an easy matchup. Because he's a corner and he's small. Joey Bosa, I think, manhandled some of the defense or some of the tackles in this game at times. But the defense held in there. They weren't fantastic, but they made the plays when they needed to make the plays. And that was honestly the difference between the Chargers and the Chiefs. This is what I've been saying about the Chiefs. When you have a defense this bad against elite teams in the playoffs, you're going to lose, because the other team is more complete. The other team has a defense that is going to make at least 1 or 2 plays. And the Chiefs did not make 1 or 2 plays in this game, other than their interceptions, which were, the first play, I'll give it to them. That was a great play. That was a well-designed blitz, great call, and they got the interception. So that was all them. The last interception was not them. That was just Rivers being an idiot, to be honest with you. That was, I just think the Chargers in the fourth quarter made those stops, and that was the difference. And then you look at the other side. I thought Kelce played well, 7 catches, 61 yards, but he didn't do anything extra, special. I thought the Chargers kept him under wraps. I thought Damian Williams was really impressive in this game. 10 carries, 49 yards, 4.9 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns on the ground, but also in the receiving game, 6 catches for 74. He was especially dangerous early on until the Chargers kind of adjusted. Mahomes did make his plays, but he only threw for 243, and you could clearly tell that Tyreek Hill was off. He looked healthy, but they didn't really use him down the field. 4 catches for 46 yards. That's not what we're used to seeing from Tyreek Hill. We're used to seeing a big play in the game, and the Chargers played him about as well as I've seen any team play him. 7 targets, only 4 catches, 46 yards. No big plays. Justin Houston was really good, 1.5 sacks. I thought the front 7, besides that last drive, which is the most important drive, so it does take away from him, but I thought that the Chiefs dominated the Chargers up front. It was just Rivers staying in there and throwing darts. I mean, he was taking hits. He was making plays, and Houston was all over him. D Ford was all over him. He had a sack as well. I thought Chris Jones was unreal. 2.5 sacks, looking like Aaron Donald out there. But the secondary of the Chiefs, no matter how much pressure they had, there were some crucial situations on that last drive. I just don't understand it. The Chiefs are playing man-to-man coverage, man. Man-to-man coverage. Why are the Chiefs playing straight-up man-to-man coverage on the last drive? I understand they were close, but close isn't good enough. You're playing man-to-man with those corners, you're going to get beat eventually. Travis Benjamin beats them. Tyrell Williams beats them. Mike Williams beats them. You're not going to get away with that when you have corners like this. So, I don't know, man. I just don't understand that play calling at the end from the defense. Eric Berry looked good in his return for the most part. He was kind of quiet, but he made a couple of plays. Other than that, nobody really stood out. I thought the best corner for the Chiefs was Steven Nelson. Skandrick again was bad. Who else? Kendall Fuller got beat a couple of times, but it wasn't like he was horrible. I thought the Chiefs defense played just about as good as they possibly could play, and they still gave up 29 points. So that says all you need to know about the Chiefs defense. They probably played one of their best games, and they let up 29 points. So, yeah, that's the breakdown for the players. Let's get to the chat. All right, let's start it off with Kevin Durkant, who says, shows how much the Chiefs care about their division. Well, I'm pretty sure they tried to win this game, Kevin Durkant. Robot Guy says, Chargers. Kevin Durkant then says, how about them Chargers? Graham says, let's go Chargers. Chargers Bolt says, what a comeback. Let's go. Ricardo says, woo. Robot Guy says, Thursday Night Football game of the year. Raisin is happy that the Chiefs lost. Robot Guy says, this game shows exactly why Rivers is one of my favorite quarterbacks. I'd 100% agree. I think a lot of times Rivers has been given bad. I think if you don't think Rivers is a Hall of Famer, watch this game. I understand he threw 2 interceptions, but to make that team come back, the will to win, the leadership, I mean, I've said it, I'll say it again. Rivers is a Hall of Famer. Blue says, playing a team who had 13 points between Jackson and Rivers with 7 minutes left, they combined for 34. BS. So frustrating. I'm assuming he's talking about fantasy. Rivers was not bad the whole game. I thought the offensive line, once the offensive line started protecting, Rivers was on the money. It's just a matter of getting protection. And sometimes it's difficult to do that in a tough situation on the road in a tough stadium. Charger says we did not have Melvin Gordon and Keenan Allen, and still something I think is a Super Bowl team. Am I right? I think you messed up like 3 or 4 words in that sentence, bro. I think the Chargers have a very good chance of going to the Super Bowl. I said it a couple weeks ago. I'll say it again. I still think it's Patriots or Chargers. I understand Chiefs fans are going to be upset by that, but I've said it. I'm sticking to it. I still think it's Patriots or Chargers for the AFC. Donnie says, do you think the Chiefs need to fire their defensive coordinator? Probably not. I don't know. They don't have a lot of talent in the secondary. Potentially they do. I think the thing about the Chiefs is I would just like to see the Chiefs play a little bit more conservative on defense because you have the rushers. Like in the secondary, play a little bit more conservative. Just let your front 4 get there. You have Jones, who has 12.5 sacks. You have D Ford, who has like 11 sacks. And you have Justin Houston. 3 out of your 4 rushers are going to be 3 Pro Bowl caliber players. So just play coverage and let your guys go like the Eagles did last year. I don't really understand why they are so aggressive. Like, they don't have the cover guys. I like defenses to be aggressive when they have the corners to be aggressive. Like, when a biggest example of this is like when the Jets in like 2010, 2011 had like Revis and Cromartie. Yeah, that team can blitz because you didn't have any pass rushers and you had great corners. So you're playing lockdown man. But like, if you have Orlando Scandrick as your starting corner at this point in his career and you're still sending 7 or 6, that's not going to be good most of the time. It's just not going to work. What else? Refs were whack on both sides, says Dylan Turner. I thought the refs were horrible for a lot of the game, and that was really, really making me angry. I thought that was the worst part of this game. The difference between this game being really good, which it was, and great, and to being legendary was probably some of the dumb calls that the refs made. Rams maybe one and done. That's random by a robot. What else? Robot guy says, stop complaining about the refs. They're always this bad, but it isn't something new. This game and the Cowboys game against the Eagles, particularly, really bad reffing. Really bad reffing. Rivers MVP, says Kevin Durkant. Ricky says, honestly, I was shitting my pants when they are going for 2. I didn't like it at all. Hey, man, sometimes you just got to roll with the punches, and sometimes it works out. Nick says, as a Saints fan, I've always loved the Chargers. I'm sure you do because of Drew Brees. What else? Congrats to the Chargers, says Nick. X-Man says the touchdown and the 2-point were the same play. No, they were clearly different because Mike Williams was in the bunch. And then, unless it was the opposite side of the field, I don't know. Maybe. Some random dude says we might not go the Super Bowl, but that was one hell of a win. Jay said, you guys have a chance. Jay says, if the Bears see the Chargers, Rivers throwing 3 interceptions, maybe 4 like Goff, Chargers, little monsters of the Midway. Nick says, I truly hoping that the Saints and Chargers are going to be in the Super Bowl. Let's go Chargers. Amazing game, says Dylan. Everybody's a Chargers fan all of a sudden. Brady Time says, thank you, Chargers. I'm also in the thank you, Chargers attitude, even though both teams have to lose one more game for the Patriots to get number 1 seed. Nick says, absolutely, because Drew Brees loves Rivers, Antonio Gates, and has much respect for Chargers fans. Brady Time says, I didn't really enjoy it. Too many damn flags. See, I think that was the difference between it being legendary and just very good. Sport Lights pick the Chargers. Well, man, nice pick. I was not bold enough to pick the Chargers, and none of us in the bottom line view picked the Chargers. Mr. Wong said he dropped Mike Williams. That's unfortunate. Ricky said you wouldn't have started him anyway. Be real. The thing is, though, Mike Williams had this game because Keenan Allen was injured. If Mike Williams, if Keenan Allen was not injured, maybe Keenan Allen has this game. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how he was so open. I tried to explain it as best as I could, but no idea. Oh, I just skipped a bunch of comments. What else we got? So, if you guys want to know, the future schedules of the Chargers, I believe, are the Ravens and the Raiders, and the Chiefs play the Seahawks and some bum team. I don't remember the other team. But Seattle can legitimately beat Kansas City. I don't know. Maybe the Ravens can beat the Chargers. I think the game is in Baltimore. I could be wrong, though. It could be in LA. Not sure. But again, the Chargers play better at home. Chiefs are getting the playoff form, says Trevor. That's something to talk about. Is this the time that I know that they lost by 1 point on the last play of the game, but the Chiefs always find a way to collapse at the end of the season. Is this the beginning of a Chiefs collapse, or will this game make the Chiefs stronger? Let me know what you guys think. In terms of the Chargers, do you think this is going to propel them to the Super Bowl? Because this is that type of victory. Library says Rivers going to the Hall of Fame, even though he forgets what team he plays for at times. Robot Guy says, I don't think the Ravens are sneaky good. I can tell they are good. Hope the Seahawks beat the Chiefs and Chargers. I think a lot of Patriots fans are chiming in. Bodo asks about Patrick Mahomes. How can an MVP let his team lose with a 14-point lead? How can a defense lose the game with a 14-point lead? That's my question, Bodo. It's more on the defense than it is Mahomes. Mahomes didn't really do anything wrong. He didn't throw an interception to lose the game. He didn't fumble. Sure, he didn't. He got sacked at the end of the game, but it was also backed up in this end zone. It was just good by the Chargers. Don't understand the criticism of Mahomes in this game. He played well. Boy Brick says, beating the Chiefs, great offense without Allen and Gordon and Eckler. This was a great game. Can you give me your thoughts? I basically have already, bro. I don't know if you have to go back and watch it, but I think it was a great win for the Chargers. The offense played well. I think more than anything, it showed the guts of the Chargers, and I think it proved to me that the Chargers are a different team this year than they have been in the past. A lot of the years in the past, they would have lost this game. Yeah, Gronk spiked that like button, guys. All right, I think I'm pretty much done for this recap. I don't see anything else here. Chargers fan says, I'm in shock. I'm still in shock. I think that was a hell of a game. I'm still running on adrenaline. I got to get up at 3 something, actually. I'm leaving at 4:15. I got to wake up at 3 a.m. So that's going to be fun. Because I'm going to Pittsburgh for the game this weekend. So I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed this recap. If you did, Gronk spike the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Go check out the latest fantasy football stardom and sit 'em if you are in the playoffs. Much appreciated. And thank you guys all for watching that Chiefs-Chargers breakdown video. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see ya next time. Dylan will cover us on this weekend, and probably Kevil will be there because I will be at the game. But thanks for watching. From Mitch of the Bottom Line View. Peace out.